In the first week of February, stock markets across the world, but especially in India and the US, saw an anxiety inducing phenomenon. Starting on Tuesday and continuing on to Wednesday, Indian IT stocks saw the worst sell offs in recent memory. The Nifty IT index logged its most dramatic single day fall in 6 years, dropping nearly 6% and losing almost 2 lakh crore rupees. India's five biggest IT names, Infosys, TCS, Wipro, HCL Tech, and Tech Mahindra, all lost between 5 and 8% each in a matter of hours. Like I mentioned earlier, these tips were mirrored in the US as well, especially in companies like Accenture and Cognizant. Also, Wall Street's tech-heavy Nasdaq fell by almost 3% between Tuesday and Thursday, and software stocks also fell by approximately $300 billion in market value. Now, if you've been following the news, then you might know what triggered this mass panic sell-offs. But still, here's a quick recap. Anthropic, the AI company that's also a massive competitor to OpenAI, rolled out a set of plugins for its Claude Cowork agent towards the end of January. But these features, even as they created excitement with tech enthusiasts, confirmed something for investors who were already nervous about the effect AI would have on software companies. Because Cowork is nothing like the chatbots we've all gotten used to so far. It's no longer just a prompt and response sort of deal. With Cowork, you can actually automate AI to complete tasks across legal, finance, sales, and marketing, and it will do all of that with minimal supervision. It almost works like a digital assistant on your computer. You could ask it to do something very simple, like sort files in a folder. Or you could ask it to do something more complicated, like parse through an Excel sheet and write up a doc with the key insights. For the first time, AI can now take on complex tasks end to end, from planning and executing to delivering results. And it no longer needs a person to guide each step. It just needs you to do a quick review and click for approval. Which means that Anthropic's latest AI capabilities pose a direct challenge to Indian IT's main revenue streams. As you probably know, SaaS or software as service companies basically work by selling access to software over the internet. It's usually through browsers, and they charge a recurring subscription fee instead of a one-time license. In return, customers get a product that's constantly maintained, updated, and improved. They don't have to manage any of it by themselves. So, when Anthropic launched these tools that automate all sorts of business tasks, the fear was that AI would only grow in capability and eventually make SaaS products and the human teams that run them obsolete. And the sell offs that resulted from this concern even earned a dramatic name from Jefferies, an investment bank and financial services company, which is SaaSpocalypse. Now, some experts believe that this is certainly an inflection point for AI, because it seems to be moving past the whole AI-enabled, AI-assisted identity. As an ET article put it, AI isn't just enhancing existing products anymore. It is directly competing with them. But some critics also believe that the fear is premature and perhaps even overblown. Welcome to Daybreak, a business podcast from The Ken. I'm your host, Rachel Verghese, and every day of the week, my co-host, Snigdha Sharma and I will bring you one news story that is worth understanding and worth your time. Today is Wednesday, the 11th of February. So, why exactly has Claude Cowork amped up the anxieties about AI competing with SaaS companies? Well, for one, an AI agent like Cowork simplifies the very complexities that SaaS companies have monetized over the years. Fragmented systems, customized requirements, and labor-heavy processes all created sustained demand for these services. So, when one system can do all of the integrating, understanding, and executing, the entire stack of software that sits on top of that complexity starts to look redundant. Here's 3 ways how Cowork is disrupting these softwares. Firstly, you don't have to be a developer to use it. You don't have to write a piece of code that instructs the AI on what to do. You can ask it in simple English to perform a task like create a sales report from this, and it will just do it. It can fetch the data, format it, and even create a PDF with charts and notes. So, the barrier to entry is very low and needs little to no training, which means it reduces the need to hire someone else outside the organization to do the business tasks that the AI can do almost all by itself. Secondly, a lot of SaaS platforms do certain things very well, like analyze data, manage workflows, and generate reports. And it does that usually through a platform that has been integrated already with all these different tools that perform different functions. Now, AI can do all of that through basic commands without the need for a dedicated platform. Ideally, given the right permissions, it can read a document on Notion, update your Google Drive, and search the web for more information on the way. It doesn't need to be penned into one platform to perform all three functions. So, why would someone pay for a specialized tool when your AI agent can handle it by using a combination of open source or free tools? Third, it reduces the importance of UI UX design. Think about it. We all have our favorite browsers, payment apps, or food delivery apps, despite multiple options, because we simply like the user interface and user experience of one over the other. Because we're human, and of course, we'll have preferences based on our own sense of aesthetics and convenience. Of course, AI doesn't care about any of that. It's going to interact with the code of a software or website, which means a feature that was important to maintain customer stickiness could gradually become useless. So, all these modes that SaaS companies have built, like specialized teams, proprietary integrations, and even design, are slowly losing their importance. There's also an added sense of discomfort in the fact that Claude Cowork was actually built with the help of Claude Code itself. What would have taken quarters took only a couple of weeks to develop because AI shrank the development cycle drastically, which means organizations that use AI to build AI can do it much faster and actually even improve their AI's capabilities in the process through the consistent feedback loop. So, the nerve wracking thing for SaaS companies now is that, of course, AI companies have a head start on them. But there's also some good news. Most of the legacy SaaS companies have already been doubling down on increasing their own AI capabilities. More on this in the next segment. As more incumbent companies embrace the new technology and leverage their own decades of experience in perfecting their processes with AI, they're not just likely to survive, but to thrive. See, when it comes to business matters, especially when you think about things like confidentiality and accountability, it's very necessary to have humans in charge of the major processes. Experts believe that clients who have long standing relationships with trusted service providers are unlikely to cut off ties with them just to sign over sensitive information and years of insight to a bot. Anish Acharya, a partner at Andreessen Horowitz, an American venture capital firm, told Wall Street Journal that the software costs are only about 8 to 10% of what companies spend. Basically, any money saved by vibe coding wouldn't exactly be worth the legal and compliance risk for most companies if there happen to be any errors. Financial Times reported that it's also actually quite early and a lot to expect companies to embrace new technologies on a large scale. In fact, data from the US Census Bureau from August last year showed that AI adoption had actually been declining, especially in bigger companies with more than 250 employees. The thing is, it pays to be more careful with legal, regulatory, and security risks because blaming the AI for mistakes is not really an acceptable answer in case anything goes wrong. Take the situation with Deloitte last year in Australia, a story we covered on Daybreak actually, which I'll link in the show notes. See, Claude Cowork doesn't just live on a tab on your browser. If an enterprise is paying for the tool and using it to its full capacity, then it would be living on an employee's device. And it would need to have intimate access to all sorts of proprietary information, data, and critical documents to actually do any work. It's not easy to hand over these kinds of permissions because this was a very hasty tech development, which means a lot of it has happened without the necessary guardrails and governance in place. It's also why the terms and conditions for Cowork say that you shouldn't really be using Cowork for sensitive work. For example, Anthropic's disclaimer for its legal plugin states that all outputs should be reviewed by licensed attorneys. So, it's clearly positioning itself more as an assistant than an expert. The way Cowork is designed is also very dependent on interacting with humans. Not at an instructional level, yes, but certainly at an approval level. At key points when it comes to carrying out tasks, it is required to ask the users for authorization and review to make sure that mistakes are minimized. So basically, people are mostly being moved from an execution role to a supervisory one. And what that means is that it's unlikely that Cowork or tools like it are actually going to put SaaS platforms out of business. At least that's not happening anytime soon. Could it remove inefficient layers from the platforms and smoothen repetitive workflows though? Sure. But what's more likely is this, that AI will push incumbent companies into restructuring their own offerings around AI so that they don't get left behind. In this case, their responsibility then is to ensure that they do so effectively and efficiently. Because while AI is allowed to assist and execute basic tasks, it is the human ability to perceive and judge brand identity, quality, and customer experience that will set SaaS incumbents apart from the AI disruptors.
Daybreak is produced from the newsroom of The Ken, India's first subscriber-focused business news platform. What you're listening to is just a small sample of our subscriber-only offerings. A full subscription offers daily long-form feature stories, newsletters, and a whole bunch of premium podcasts. To subscribe, head to theken.com and click on the red subscribe button on the top of the Ken website. Today's episode was hosted and produced by my colleague Rachel Varghese and edited by Rajiv Sien.